Welcome to Shore Fishing Essex. Now, I'm not really happy about putting this video out there because there's not much on there really, but I haven't got anything else to show you. But I'm going to put it out anyway because there's quite a bit of footage there. I'm not catching much. I'm restricted to where I can go fishing because of this lockdown and I'm not travelling far. So my local estuary is full of rainwater and fresh water and it's freezing cold and there's not much to catch there. You go fishing there all day and you might have one bite. And yeah, it's a bit of a pain in the neck, so I'm giving that a miss for a while. There's a fishery just up the road from me, but it's very snaggy and very overfished. It's a very pressured water, and yeah, I'm not really in love with that one. I've got a commercial carp fishery up the road, and I'm going to go back to that one in time when all this snow and everything else disappears. And yeah, I'm going to give it a go. But I'd just like to use this opportunity to let you know about one of my friends in North Wales who's a YouTuber. He's rebooted his channel. It used to be all about, well, it was always fishing and some foraging thrown in. But now he's concentrating his efforts more on lure fishing, on lure fishing for predators. And I'd just like you to nip over there and have a look at Peter's channel. It's called The Lure Angler, Purely Predator. I've got it open on my laptop now. If I was any good at putting links and all that kind of stuff into my videos where you could just press the button and go and have a look at his channel, I would do it. But I'll try and do it. Let me see if I can do it. But have a look at Peter's channel. Like, he's a knowledgeable guy. Have a look on what he's caught in the past. Like his content. He's caught some decent fish. Now, let's get on with the rest of the video. And, you know, I'm not going to say that it's the best video I've ever produced. There's a few bits and pieces on there. It's just something to tide you over before this lockdown ends and before I can get out and do some proper fishing. All the best. Stay safe. You join me on the River Crouch at Wallasey Island. It's all quiet on the western front. At Wallasey Island on the slipway near the old pub. Look how close that seal is to me. I was going to start fishing here. I reckon that's frightened off the fish. That's a common seal. He's having a right good look at me. You want to see some fish caught, don't you? So let's give it a go. Just showing you what I'm using. It's a proper scratching rig. I'm not after anything big. I'm just after species for the species hunts. Got a carp rod with a Shimano bait runner on it and an old beach caster. It's like a broomstick. I really do need to upgrade my gear, but at the moment it'll do. Nothing. This is just before sunrise on the River Crouch. I don't know whether you can see me in this half light, but and it's yet another fruitless session, but I've come to sort of half expect it. I've really lowered my expectations now. As this is the only marine location that I am legally allowed to fish during this lockdown, number 3, I'm just having to put up with it. The trouble with this estuary is that it's very shallow, it's very cold, and we've had so much rain it's unbelievable. So there's a lot of fresh water in the river as well. So it's pushing all the marine species out. Throw into the mix every time I reel my baits in. Even after 10 minutes, the hooks are stripped bare, and occasionally there's a crab still hanging on the hook. This is not the easiest place to fish, and I would rather be sea fishing anywhere else but here, to tell you the truth. Crabs, keep nicking me bait. Jesus Christ, why did that have to start now? I thought it was going to be all lovely and serene and peaceful, and these have started kicking off. Right, if you can hear me over all that machinery, that is a tiny little dab, and that is the first fish I've had out of here on 3 trips. It gave the tiniest little bite, but I'll tell you what, in half welcome. He's got quite a fat little belly actually. It's another species on my species hunt, so that's a dab. I'm happy with that. Even though it's tiny, it is a fish at least. It's going to be bright enough for me to release this little dab in the shallow clear water at the end of this jetty. As you can tell, I've got a couple of oysters off the rocks, and I'm going to try out my new baiting tool. Let's put him back. There he goes. Hey, there he goes. Oh, what a beautiful sight. Oh, it's made me day. Oh, it's a tiny little fish, but it is at least a fish. I can die happy. I caught this on the ultimate scratching rig. I've got some of these 4-way beads, and I just crimped a little bit of 15-pound line. I don't know whether you can see that, it's so small, and that is a size 10 Aberdeen. I've got a rod out there with bigger baits on, you know, with squid and mackerel and that kind of thing, in case anything else turns up, like an early skate or an early bass or anything like that. But that little scratching rig there, that's for the well, for basically dabs and rockling, anything that swims. Just found that little lobworm at the top of the slipway, so I'm going to stick that on the hook. The other hook I'm using, well, they're rotten lugworm basically, and I know if there's dab about, they're partial to a bit of rotten worm, so that's why I'm using them. But I'm going to try a live lobworm on this bottom snood. It's a bit messy, but it's a small hook. I'm only lobbing it out a little way, should stay on there. This is my Tronics Pro baiting tool that I ordered from the Glasgow Angling Centre. Took a couple of days to arrive. I see it in the magazine, I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a go. So let's give it a go. Earlier on, I managed to get a few oysters off the jetty. They look nice to eat actually. So what you do is, you hook this onto the spikes. There's a couple of ways you can do it. You can have the hook in there already, or you can do it like this, where the hook's not in there, and then you just get your elasticated cotton, if I can find a bit that ain't broken at the end. It's the only trouble with this fine stuff, it keeps breaking. It's good, I like it, but and then you just look at the juice coming out of that. Broken again. It's a pain in the neck. So there you have an oyster whipped on to the 2 points. Now one of these points, one of these 3 points, has got a little hole that you stick the top of the hook in, and then you just push it round, and look at that. What an expensive bait. I mean, that's nice for humans to eat, let alone fish, but the hook's proud, it's all whipped on lovely. What fish would want to turn that down? All I've got to do is repeat the process on the second hook. Handy little tool that. Right, that's it. I'm going to give it another 5 minutes more, and then I'm going to pack up, and I'm going to tack this onto a longer video. and just put a few sessions into one to make it watchable. I'm in the motor, I'm parked up, I'm going to go for a long walk along the River Crouch. The weather is diabolical. I know I use that word all the time. I'll do it another way. The weather is terrible. Last night we had so much rain that there's so many floods around Essex at the moment. Flood warnings all over the place. Wind noise outside is going to be terrible. So I'm going to walk around and film a little bit, but I ain't going to talk much. I'm just going to film. So that's why I'm talking now before I get out. And yeah, let's do it. Let's go for a walk. I've just plotted up next to the creek. You can see out the window. When I drive off of Wallasey Island, I drive past some little building that's on stilts. And I'm going to go and check it out. I've always wondered what's in it and what it is. There's no signs to say private or no entry. I mean, I'm not going to go in there and force entry and break the door down. If I can't get in there, I won't bother, but I'm just going to go and have a look around it. I've always been intrigued by what the building is and what's inside it and what's around it, so I'm going to go and have a little look. Come with me. Let's go and have a little look. I wonder what this is for. The lightest fella in the world. Rory's been in here. Right, I have to get in here, didn't I? Oh, okay. God, look, someone set this on fire from the inside. Be careful not to fall through the bottom. Bird's nest down there. Oh look, birds have been nesting up there. Imagine if this was your house. Look at the view. I've always wondered what's in here. I've always wondered what it was for. I still don't know what it's for, but at least I've been in here. I think I better get out of here. So now I know what it looks like inside there. And now I know what's inside there. Nothing. I've decided to come and do a bit of piking today. I heard on the TV the other day that the last December and January period was the wettest in 100 years. It's just made everywhere sort of like a swamp. All the banks are mucky. It's horrible. The estuaries are full of rainwater, so if you want to do a little bit of sea fishing in the estuary, you're sort of whistling in the wind basically. I'll see you by the lake. Little metal spoon there. Let's try the next swim. Give that a go, a little Toby lure. Try the next swim. I'm going to have a go with this double-bodied Rapala plug. Just set up. Float fish sardine. This little bit of lake. Wow. Wonder if anybody ever pike fishes this. I'm going to cast it in here. That looks as snaggy as hell. And I'm not sure even if anybody has even pike fished this little section. It's not the main drag of the lake. I mean there, that looks like a flooded forest. Let's give it a go. No. ain't gonna believe this. You know that bag I just pulled out? Look what was hiding inside it. Beautiful little perch. It's amazing that. I did hook a little perch, but not legally. The only fish I caught was trapped in a plastic bag. You know what, I ain't coming back here in a hurry.